Cape Media Center, building community through media.
These scarecrows, like my friend over here, line Centerville's main street every year for what is properly known as Scarecrow Alley. These scarecrows of all shapes and sizes are made by businesses and locals to bring that autumn feel to their beloved neighborhood. They are hard to miss, especially Taylor and Travis Scarecrow. Put on by the Centerville Civic Association, Scarecrow Alley is currently taking place in downtown Centerville until Columbus Day. Head to the village of Centerville to see all of these creative scarecrows that residents and business owners put in front of their properties. If you're interested, you can vote for your favorite scarecrow at the 1856 Country Store in Centerville. I'm Kayla Jorgensen for Cape Media Center, building community through media.
I'm Meredith Stores, and I'm the founder of Off Leash Second Chance. Off Leash Second Chance is a 501c3 dog rescue organization. We call ourselves a pointy-eared dog rescue. We focus primarily on Shepherd and Malinois breeds that end up in high kill shelters, primarily in California. So what we are trying to do is transport them here to New England, where they will be able to hopefully find their second chance. He is from the Riverside shelter in California, where he was scheduled to be euthanized. And these dogs, they are not being euthanized because of any behavioral issues or anything like that. There's really just no space in the shelters. So, you have a shelter that has a capacity of, let's say 100 dogs, and there's 300 dogs that are in the shelter right now. So euthanasia is a very real thing, and really what we're trying to do is just, play our small part in trying to get these dogs rehomed. The Cape is a great place to network these dogs because you have a lot of very active people that live here. We've got great conservation land, a lot of people that bike and walk and run. And this breed specifically does require sort of that type of dog owner. They are a more active breed, so they do require some people that, are going to have the time to really give them the exercise that they need. They're very smart. They're incredibly agile. And they're super loyal. They make great pets. So we are just hoping to sort of get the word out, and Barnstable was gracious enough to have us here today. We're a newer adoption organization, so this is actually our first adoption event. All of the dogs available for adoption on the website, which is Off Leash Second Chance. That's all one word.com. We're happy to be here, and at least the weather is cooperating.
My name is Greg Ketchen. I'm the president of the Coast Guard Heritage Museum and a retired Coast Guard officer. I spent over 30 years in the Coast Guard, involved in all aspects of operation in the Coast Guard. Frankly, our museum here is run by volunteers, and just a rough number, probably 300 to 400 years of experience in the Coast Guard with the 50 or more volunteers we know. So it's a very rich history of the Coast Guard, but also people here with knowledge about that. The Coast Guard can share that, and we enjoy that. They enjoy sharing that history with visitors. Our self-imposed mission is to protect, preserve, and celebrate Coast Guard history. Frankly, the history is extremely rich here. Massachusetts is the birthplace of the Coast Guard. The 18th century, 1700s, where the Coast Guard began. And focusing on 4 of our primary missions today, that's search and rescue, which most people think of as a Coast Guard. the helicopters and boats going out. Second is aids navigation, which is lighthouses and buoys and lightships and those sort of things. And the third is what was known as the Revenue Cutter Service. Revenue Cutter Service was involved in law enforcement, national defense. It was the only Navy in the early to late 1790s. The Navy had been disbanded after the war and wasn't reinstituted until then. So we have a rich history here. The point is that we're here as a museum because this is the birth of the Coast Guard. Massachusetts is the birthplace. Plus, Cape Cod is such a rich history too. I mean, everything from, on a negative side, there have been by a rough count, over 3,000 shipwrecks off of Cape Cod. That's not necessarily a happy event, but the Coast Guard was involved, particularly from the recent ones. But it also is places where so many historic things have occurred. Upstairs we have, for many of us, significant, it's a flag, a Coast Guard ensign that is flown on landing craft during World War II when they went into D-Day into Omaha Beach. There's a flag there that flew that way, and to many of us that's really kind of an emotional experience to see that. Our docents, both the ones that are former Coast Guard and others that are historians, really enjoy telling those stories to people. They're just such a rich history of that. It's exciting. Our docents are not all just Coast Guard people, though. There are dedicated historians that just love maritime history and love the heroism involved in many aspects of what the Coast Guard was involved in. So it's a lot of fun. It's a family atmosphere here. So we really enjoy showing it off to our visitors. And the artifacts we have here are on 2 floors, actually 3 floors. Our basement is our archive and our research library, but 2 floors open to the public. The building that we're in is called the U.S. Customs House, or Barnstable Customs House. It served as a customs office for most of the 19th century into the early part of the 20th century, serving all of this as headquarters for the entire customs operations on Cape Cod and the islands. It alone is worth a stop by to see the building because there's some very rich history of that. It was the first fireproof building built on Cape Cod. We are in Barnstable Village, but also Barnstable Harbor, which just down the street, a short distance, was a significant second-tier port in Massachusetts. It wasn't the size of Boston or Salem, but it was an important port. So having the Coast Guard Museum here now, because Coast Guard and the customs offices were both under the Department of the Treasury at the time, work together closely, and it's appropriate for us to be back in this building now to celebrate that history. Please do stop by. I mean, I think it's worth the visit. We're much more than, I think some people get the impression we're just a glorified man cave with a bunch of patches and hats. It's not that way. We have a few of those, but most of it are artifacts that are from, in fact, the 1700s or later, and just a lot of artifacts that were given to us have so much rich history. All of them have been donated over the years. That's amazing. The quality of some of the artifacts and history associated with them.
Hey, I'm Kayla. I was an intern at Cape Media Center back in 2019, and that experience totally launched my career in media.
And I'm Destiny. I was right there with Kayla in 2019, learning everything from camera work to editing and loving every second of it.
The staff here at Cape Media Center were always hands-on and always willing to answer our questions, especially with our final project.
We created a series of videos called the Blue Economy Project, where we dove deeper into how the ocean plays a vital role in Cape Cod's economy.
The series was well approved, and we couldn't have done it without the Cape Media Center.
Fast forward to now, I'm working in live music production and have even worked at venues such as Gillette Stadium and Fenway Park.
And I actually came full circle. I'm back at the Cape Media Center, this time on staff.
Cape Media Center gave us the tools, the confidence, and the real-world experience to chase our creative goals.
It's more than just a media center, it's a launch pad for your future.
Start your story at Cape Media Center in Dennisport.
Cape Media Center, your voice, your vision, your community.
I'm Kathy Oman, and I am the president and founder of Forward, which stands for Friends or Relatives with Autism and Related Disabilities. We organized as a nonprofit in early 2014 to build 2 group homes for adults with autism who are involved with the Department of Developmental Services here in the Cape and Islands. We opened those group homes in 2020. There are 2 homes with 4 people each, and they are cared for by residential staff from Capabilities. We're currently building and having a groundbreaking soon for 8 one-bedroom apartments for higher functioning folks with autism and other developmental disabilities from Cape Cod who need a place to live and are often living with aging parents with not a great plan for where people will be or where they will live when their parents are no longer able to take care of them. And that's why we started Forward. We were aware that 81% of adults with autism live at home with their aging parents. And in some cases, the Department of Developmental Services knows about these people and are working with us to either place them here or in our apartments. But in some cases, people are unidentified and become an emergency for the department when their parents are no longer able to take care of them or something happens suddenly. I have 2 sons on the spectrum. I got involved with several other parents to look at the housing needs on Cape Cod and what we could do to build housing for adults with autism. And that's how it started. We were incredibly fortunate that the town of Dennis stepped forward and gave us the land that we've built these first 2 group homes on, and have been very supportive. Our town manager, our select board, one of our select board members is currently on our board. All 15 towns on Cape Cod have contributed community preservation funds to both of these projects, and we're very grateful for that. We have a small 10-person board, but a small but mighty board. We work pretty hard and pitch in when we need to. We are always looking for volunteers, and people are welcome to get in touch with us at go-forward.org. For me, as a parent of a largely nonverbal young man with autism, my son has language, but he's very shy. He has a lot of anxiety, which is a hallmark of autism, and it's hard for him to communicate with people effectively. But it was clear to us that he needed to have his own place. We realized that, one, that we're aging, and also that he needed to be in his own place. And he's very happy here with having his own room and living with the guys. We can help people with autism find their community, but also I think, it's more than a trend these days. People with autism need acceptance. People need to get some more education maybe than they have, but understand that there's all kinds of different people in the world, and people with autism are some of them, and they do need more acceptance and understanding of who they are. I think in general, we started a lending library at our office with different board members we have collective books about autism, what it is, in the communication, mostly communication difficulties that come with it. But I think most importantly, the message is there is treatment for autism. We've been treating people with developmental disability for decades, since we opened up the state institutions in the 70s here. And we have good treatment. We have good at special education here, and great resources to rely on, especially in our big cities. And we need to do more educating, I think. And as I said, acceptance and understanding, finding more resources to help people with autism.
I'm Susan Saposnik. I am the current president of the orchestra. I play the French horn and the piano in the orchestra. We are a community orchestra. We do not charge our members to play. We do not charge the audience to come. It's a free concert. An orchestra consists of both strings and brass and winds, unlike a band, which is just brass and winds. We've got about 55 members.
I'm Quan Faith. I play the violin in the Cape Community Orchestra, and I am the concertmaster. I've been the concertmaster for 10 or 15 years, I would say, but I've been with the orchestra since its inception. It's just so lovely to see how it's changed and just modified itself around the needs of the community. And one of the things that has maintained throughout the years is that we put on our concerts for free, which I think that is something that's a little bit lacking, especially in sort of like the live music area where there is a lot of inaccessibility happening, particularly with exposure to classical music. We don't play strictly classical. We like to play a mix of stuff that people will recognize and really get excited about. We do a friends and family concert, so it's a concert for all generations, and that's also free, and little kids can come and make noise and ask questions, and we play music from the Disney movies and the Pirates of the Caribbean and things like that. So it's really nice to see that community engagement, especially those concerts. We've seen the audience actually like grow visibly as we've gone on.
My name is Nancy Trenti, and I am the conductor and the music director of the Cape Community Orchestra. And our mission is to bring affordable music to the Cape community, both to perform and to listen to. So classical music, I think a lot of people are kind of fearful, not fearful, they're just not sure, like, oh, do I want to go hear that? Will I understand that? And so it's storytelling without words, really.
It's for everybody, and everybody's welcome. And that's what I love about being part of this group, is that the musicians and the audience are all in this big room to have a collective experience. Already, every single person in that room has something in common. And I just think that's the coolest thing, and that's really a nice thing to bring people together, especially in times like this when things are so divided. To have a shared experience with a perfect stranger is just magical.
We have 2 concerts coming up. Our first is Saturday, November 22nd at Monomoy Regional High School, 3 o'clock. Sunday, November 23rd, 3 o'clock at Dennis Yarmouth Intermediate School. The theme for this concert is Fire and Fantasy, music to ignite the imagination. And it is a rip-roaring program that is fast and furious. Some of it will be familiar, some of it will be toe-tapping, and some of it will just be very exciting. So we hope to see you out there.
In Chatham, the Mack Memorial stands beside the Coast Guard station and Chatham Lighthouse, honoring the owner and crew of the barge Wadena and 7 men from the Monomoy Life-Saving Station who drowned attempting to rescue them. In March 1902, the Wadena and another ship were stranded at Shovelful Shoals near Monomoy Point. Though both crews were initially rescued by the Monomoy surfmen, 5 men, including Wadena's owner, returned days later to salvage cargo. A northeast gale trapped them on board. On March 17th, Captain Marshall Eldridge and 7 surfmen responded to the distress signal. Their lifeboat capsized in rough seas, and only Ellis survived, clinging to the boat until rescued by Captain Elmer F. Mayo. The memorial, erected in 1903 by the family of William Henry Mack, the Wadena's owner, lists the names of the lost and includes stanzas from Alfred Lord Tennyson's poem, Crossing the Bar. The tragedy, which claimed 12 lives, deeply affected Harwich and Chatham communities. Visitors are welcome at the monument and encouraged to explore Chatham's other historic sites. The Mack Memorial is located at 37 Main Street in Chatham. Cape Media Center, building communities through media.
My name is Jenny Wheeler. I am the co-founder and executive director of the Family Table Collaborative. Our mission is increasing nutritional security on Cape Cod through the preparation and distribution of prepared, nutritious, delicious meals. Then it allows us to get their buy-in. That allows them to let us help them help themselves. So we do that through education, through cooking shows and cooking classes in person and online, through spice packet programs and recipe cards. And this fall, we'll be launching a spice bank. So the objective is really increasing nutritional security through both prepared meals, nutritious prepared meals, and education. So we really promote cooking and eating as critical life skills. Family Table Collaborative started as a rapid response to COVID, so I knew good food was going to be an issue. We had lived through the government shutdown of December of 2018, and that kind of showed me what could happen when all of a sudden circumstances change. And so people who kind of never had needed assistance all of a sudden needed assistance, and often the problem is you don't know what questions to ask, you don't know what resources are out there, and it's a point of pride, right? If you've never needed help, you don't really know until you kind of are acknowledged that you might need assistance until too late. And then it's really a problem. So 2 weeks after COVID hit, we were distributing meals off the back of refrigerated trucks, mostly throughout Upper and Mid Cape at that point in time. We are now almost all stem to stern. We're a couple of months away from being all the way through P-Town. And we're partnered with most of the local farms, the Fishermen's Alliance, the fishing and shellfishing industry at large, and Whole Foods Market is our largest community partner. We take in over 150 cases of food from them a week, mostly produce. As of this year, we have 3.5 employees. Those are all of my chefs. And then we have over 500 active volunteers. They are how we do what we do. The Family Table Collaborative would not exist without them. They are extraordinary human beings and are what make us run. We are located in the iconic former Riverway Lobster House. The building is 81 years old this year. We just turned 5 in April. We've been in this building now 4 years because of the extraordinary relationship with Jason and Danielle Sisko, who are the owners of this property. Jason came to us and said, hey, I believe the property can do more for the community, and I think you're the right person to do it. And that was how it began in this property a little over 4 years ago. You can follow us on Facebook. Our Facebook page always announces our distributions. And the cool thing about what we do is we put out meals through councils on aging, senior centers, veterans housing, low-income housing, the shelter system, and we do public distributions. So either through the agency or if it's the public distribution, all you have to do is text us your first name, how many meals you want to pick up, and any food sensitivities or allergens. We address all food sensitivities and allergens with our meals, so you can text us that you're allergic to X, Y, and Z, and we'll make sure that you get a meal. And that includes things like celiac, so gluten-free, dairy-free, vegetarian, vegan, whether you have an allergen to a specific food. We address all of that, which is unheard of in this space. I was recently asked what I would consider success for the collaborative, and the reality is success for me would be us not being needed. People not needing us, to me, is success. Work me out of a job. But since that isn't where we're at right this second, the biggest thing I want is for people to know we are here, that we're a resource for them, that, not all food is created equally, and it matters because healthier food creates healthier people create healthier communities. So we are here to help people, recognize that not only is nutritious food delicious, it also doesn't have to be super expensive. It doesn't have to be super hard. It doesn't have to take a huge amount of time. So, we want to make sure that people recognize we are here for them, we are here for our community, and if you need us, please reach out. And you can go on our website, www.familytablecollaborative.org, or you can go onto our Facebook page, Family Table Collaborative, and you can find all of the information, both to sign up to get a meal, to volunteer, or to donate. We need all of the above. So the reality is we're here for our community.
Cape Media Center, building community through media.